Consider the world before the U.S. Picture the groups of people that moved to America to escape religious prosecution as well as political hardships. Imagine the hope that they had to have in order to move away from their homeland. Think about all that went into making the United States of America as it is today. All of the prosecution and devastation that the founders of our nation went through are what inspired them to make a country where its citizens could live freely without constantly battling to have simple rights. A choice that our society struggles with today is whether or not to protect the right a woman has to abort a pregnancy. I believe this topic is important because abortion is a fact of society that will not simply disappear in the next day or so. This is a topic you will run into in your lifetime in both professional and personal settings. Personally, when I was in high school, I had a friend who had to make this decision. I'm not going to tell you what she decided because my point isn't that abortion is right or wrong, is that it is our duty as United States citizens to protect women's rights. I will be giving you the definition of abortion, the history of abortion, and the reasons why women might choose abortion to help you make this decision. To help you understand my point of view, I'm going to start at the beginning. The definition of abortion is, if you go on Google, the common definition, if you just type it in there, definition of abortion, the deliberate, quote, the deliberate termination of a human pregnancy, most often performed during the first 28 of pregnancy, end quote. That's what pops up. Very emotive words are used to describe this. Deliberate termination, human pregnancy. These are all things that express our society's current view on abortion. If you go on, just sort of the definition we want to get to in our society, so that we're taking into consideration what's best for the mother, according to her rights. The best common definition you could do, Doran's Medical Dictionary for Health Consumers defines abortion as, quote, expulsions from the uterus of the products of conception before the fetus is viable, end quote. This definition has changed throughout history as the medical procedure for abortion of a pregnancy has adapted with the times. Understanding the background, the history of how this came to be, can help to understand the modern ideas and implications. Our Bodies Ourselves has they talk about the history of abortion on their website. They are a pro-choice site that likes to make sure they have all the information available for women making this choice. They write, quote, abortion was practiced until about 1880, by which time most states had banned it except to save the life of the woman. Anti-abortion legislation was part of a backlash against the growing movements for suffrage and birth control, an effort to control women and confine them to a traditional childbearing role, end quote. It goes on, that just sort of outlines how hard it was, that subject was for the U.S. during that time period. It was seen as a anti-woman sort of, a way to keep women in line, was keeping that from them. But Roe versus Wade changed a lot of this. It legalized abortion. CNN has a fast facts page that summarizes Roe versus Wade. The case was filed in 1971 by Norma McCorvey. She was listed as Jane Roe against Henry Wade, the district attorney of Dallas County. The ruling allows for legal abortions during the entire pregnancy, but set up conditions to allow states to regulate abortion. Ohio law, for example, if you go on like findlaw.com or any place where you can access their laws, it says, lists some of the things that women have to do. 24-hour waiting period, Affordable Care Act, Ohio minor law, Ohio viability law. These are all laws that, like Affordable Care Act, if the woman's life isn't in danger, then health plans won't cover it through the state. Minor law, if you're under 18, you have to have a parent or legal guardian. Knowing all these facts about abortion make it possible to make an informed opinion when different situations arise. Often we make snap judgments without possessing all of the information we need, which brings me to my third point. Instances where abortion might be used. We don't always understand why women would choose this. WebMD says the most common reasons women consider abortion are birth control failure, inability to support or care for a child, to end unwanted pregnancy, to prevent the birth of a child with birth defects, pregnancy resulting from rape or incest, and physical or mental conditions that endanger the woman's health if the pregnancy is continued. End quote. These are all like with unsafe. If this choice is taken away from women, some choose, because of the reasons behind it, choose to go through with an unsafe abortion. Dr. Lisa Haddad and Dr. Noel Noir talk about unsafe abortion in an article they released in a medical journal. Every year, worldwide, about 42 million women with unintended pregnancies choose abortion. Nearly half of these procedures, 20 million, are unsafe. Some 68,000 women die of unsafe abortion annually, making it one of the leading causes of maternal mortality. Of the women who survive unsafe abortion, 5 million will suffer long-term health complications. End quote. All of this information I have given you about abortion is not so we can argue whether or not a fetus is a human being. The mother has already been determined to be a human being that has basic rights. Franklin D. Roosevelt mentioned 4 rights that everyone deserves: the freedom of speech, the freedom of worship, the freedom from want, and the freedom from fear. Our country has been built to protect the basic rights of human beings, and now it is up to us to give that same protection to our own citizens. Understanding that abortion is the termination of a pregnancy, that abortion has a long and detailed history, and that women may resort to unsafe abortions if abortions are refused them, are important to making an opinion. I ask you to reconsider your position on abortion so that I can present facts to you and let you come to your own conclusion. Earlier, I talked about our country and the founders that sacrificed their lives and reputation to produce a country that provides a safe haven for all people of different backgrounds. I want you to take this information, some of it new, some of it old, and use it to help protect the women of our country.